Let us start our new session of the chapter number 9, Forces and Laws of Motion. Let us start our session with the new topic, mathematical formulation of second law of motion. As we have discussed that Newton's second law depends on the momentum of the object. So momentum of the object is depending on its mass and its velocity. For example, we define that mass of the object is m and initial velocity is u. If object is accelerated at the end with the final velocity v for the time duration t by applying a force F. So if to that particular object, if we are providing a F amount of force, so my object is get velocity, it accelerated from its initial velocity u to the final velocity v for the time duration t. So we can say that initial momentum is, for example, P1 is m into u and the final velocity is defined as a P2, that is m into v. Because object is same, so mass of the object is remain common for both the momentum m. Initial velocity of object is u, so my momentum, initial momentum becomes mu. And final velocity of the object after giving force F is v, so my final momentum becomes mv. So we can say that we need to determine what is the change in the momentum. So actually we need to get a force, but we need to define that how much amount of momentum is varying. Based on that we can determine the applied force. So change in the momentum is P2 minus P1. So replace the value of P2 and P1. So it would be mv minus mu. So that is m common. So m into v minus u. And the rate of change of momentum, that is a force based on the Newton's second law. So rate of change of momentum, that is P2 minus P1 by t, that is m into v minus u by t, that is a force. If we are removing the proportionality and we can replace with the constant k, so that becomes F equal to k into m into v minus u by t. We can replace a change in velocity per time as an acceleration A. Acceleration A is nothing but difference in the velocity per time. Final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time, that is acceleration equation. We can replace it over here. So force equation becomes F equal to K into M into A. K is the constant. So SI unit, now we need to determine the SI unit. So SI unit of mass that we have M, that is a kilogram. SI unit of acceleration, that is meter per second square. And the unit of force is a Newton. Now we need to determine in such a value, such a manner that let us take K constant with the value of 1. To get the constant K1, what we should have? We should have a unit kilogram mass, 1 kilogram mass, right? Acceleration should be 1 meter per second square. To get a 1 unit of force, the K becomes 1. So if each value we are keeping unity, then by replacing it, my force F becomes MA. So force equation MA. So SI unit of force is, replace the SI unit of M and A. SI unit of M kilogram, SI unit of acceleration, meter per second square. So force unit is kilogram meter per second square, or also can be defined as a Newton, because Newton has determined this unit and the force condition. It is also defined as a unit with the symbol N, Newton. So the second law of motion gives the method to determine the force it is applying on the object with the mass m and accelerated with the acceleration a. So here we can also define it, the number of experiences we can do in our daily life around us. For example, in a cricket match, a fielder towards which a ball is coming, he tried to catch this particular ball. Now while he catching this particular ball, his hands moving backward side. Why it is so? If he keeps her hand at the same position, then what will happen? While the ball is arriving, its time duration is less. So applied force is very much high. If time duration is less, the applied force is higher, which can hurt a fielder. So what he is doing? While catching, he make her hands, he moves her hand backward side. So time duration to move that particular ball is increases. As the time is increases, obviously its acceleration is reduced, and if acceleration is reduced, less force affecting on hand while catching, so it won't harm to the fielder. Likewise, in athletic event, in the high jump event, while the athletes falling after jumping or falling in the on the board, in the bed or sand bed, cushion bed or sand bed. Why it is true? While they are jumping over the cushion bed or sand bed, time duration is increases while they are falling. So as the time duration is increases, acceleration is gradually reduced. So the force is reduced, so they get less harm based on the rate of change of momentum. So force is reduced, so it won't harm to the athletes. So this is how around us, by observing the number of examples, we can say the Newton's second law is directly affected over it. So the first law of motion, Newton's first law of motion, can be mathematically stated from the second law. Second law says that F equals to ma. Right? A is velocity difference per time. So that is mv minus mu by t. And if we move at other side, at left side, so ft equals to mv minus mu. Now if force is 0, applied force is 0, then v equals to u. So we can set initial velocity and final velocity becomes same. It means if object is in motion and no external force is applied, then object moves with constant velocity continuously with respect to the time, or whatever the time it taken, continuously it is moving. Right? So here first law of Newton is also can be mathematically expressed with the help of second law. But if initial velocity is 0, final velocity is also 0. It means if my object is in a rest condition, in a stationary position, then object remains in the same state with respect to time. If time is changing, its state won't change if force is 0. So in both the way, if my object is in a rest condition or if my object is in a motion condition, if external force is not applied, their condition remains constant. This is what the first law of Newton. And that can be justified over here also. Let us go through the example. A constant force acts on an object of mass 5 kg for a duration of 2 seconds. It increases the object's velocity from 3 meter per second to 7 meter per second. Find the magnitude of the applied force. Now, if the force was applied for a duration of 5 seconds, what would be the initial velocity of the object? Two conditions are applied. First, we need to determine the force based on the given parameters. And the given parameters are initial velocity 3 meter per second, final velocity v 7 meter per second. For the time duration t is to 2 seconds and the object mass is 5 kilogram. We need to determine the force. So force equation on the basis of second law mathematical calculation, F equals to mv minus u by t. Put the value of mv, u and t which are already given. So force value we have 10 Newton. Now second question asks that if the time duration becomes longer from 2 seconds to 5 seconds, then what would be the final velocity? As we know, if time duration is increases, velocity gradually decreases, and at the end we need to determine its velocity will change. Force is given continuously for the longer time duration, so the final velocity value will change, that we need to determine. So from the same equation F equals to mv minus ut, make the subjective formula v that we want to determine. So it becomes u plus ft by m. U is already given, initial velocity won't change, 3 meter per second. Force we have calculated 10 Newton, it remains as it is. Mass of the object won't change, 5 kilogram. Time duration, now we need to take 5 seconds instead of the 2 seconds. So place the value of u, f, m and t equal to 5 seconds. So final velocity becomes 13 meter per second. So it says that if 10 Newton force we are continuously applying, then final velocity will change from 7 meter per second to 13 meter per second. Let us go through another example which would require a greater force. Compare the two conditions where the greater force is required. First condition, accelerating a 2 kilogram mass at 5 meter per second square or a 4 kilogram mass at 2 meter per second square. Here two conditions are applied. First case, mass is less and acceleration is higher. In second case, mass is higher and acceleration is lower. In both the case, we need to determine a force. F equal to ma condition we have. First, in which m 2 kilogram, a 5 meter per second square, replace the value. So our force is 10 Newton. And in second case, mass is 4 kilogram and acceleration is 2 meter per second square. So by replacing this value, the force value becomes 8 Newton. It means here F1 is higher than F2. So we can say that to accelerate a 2 kilogram mass at 5 meter per second square, it requires a greater force. It means even though the mass is less, but it requires a more acceleration. So for that, greater external force is required. One more example. A motor car is moving with a velocity of 108 km per hour and it takes 4 seconds to stop after the brakes are applied. Calculate the force exerted by the brakes on the motor car if its mass along with the passengers is 1000 kg. So here initial velocity is given, that motor car is right now moving with the 108 km per hour, and then brakes are applied. So reverse force is applied to stop that particular motor car. It means final velocity is 0 meter per second. Mass of the object, the motor car is available, that is 1000 kg, and as motor car is in a motion condition, while the brake is applied, it takes 4 seconds to stop. So time duration after applying a brake is 4 seconds. So how much force is required? So force equation we have mv minus u by t. M 1000 kg, v 0, u 108 km per hour. Convert into the meter per second. So we want to convert kilometer to meter, multiply with the 1000 and convert hour to second. So 1 hour occupies 60 minutes and 1 minute occupies 60 seconds. So 3600. So divide with the 3600. So result is 30 meter per second. So now u is 30 meter per second and t is 4 seconds. By replacing each value, the force value is minus 7500 Newton. Here negative sign is there, opposite force are applied, object is already in the motion and we want to stop it as brake is applied. So that's why force value is negative. It defines the opposite sign of direction of the motion. Other example, a force of 5 Newton gives a mass m1 and acceleration of 10 meter per second square, and mass m2 on the acceleration of 20 meter per second square. What acceleration would it give if both the masses were tied together? So here force is given, two different objects are there, same force is given, so they get different acceleration. Mass m1 gets acceleration 10 meter per second square and m2 gets 20 meter per second square. So different masses are there, m1 and m2. So from F equal to ma, make the subject of formula m, so it would be F by A. So m1 equal to F by A1, force is common, so it is F as it is, and m2 equal to F by A2. Now A1 is 10 meter per second square and F is 5 Newton. So m1 is 0.5 kilogram and F is 5 Newton and A2 is 20 meter per second square. So m2 is 0.25 kilogram. Individual masses we have calculated. Now ask that if both are combined together. So m1 plus m2 total mass. So it would be 0.5 plus 0.25. So it would be 0.75 kilogram total mass is there. Now 2.75 kilogram, if we apply the same force 5 Newton, then what should be the acceleration? Then now A equal to F by A. Same equation, F equals to ma. From that make the subject of formula A. So it would be F by m. F is 5 Newton, m is 0.75 kilogram. So now that acceleration becomes 6.67 meter per second square. Other example, the velocity time graph is given for a ball. The velocity time graph of a ball of a mass 20 gram moving along a straight line on a long table, it is given by the graphical representation. How much force does the table exert on the ball to bring it to the rest condition? By this graphical representation, we can say that initial velocity is 20 centimeter per second. That is a centimeter per second graphical representation is there. Ball mass is given 20 gram. Now due to the friction, let us end up this session. I'll explain this example in next session. Hope you understood. Thank you.